On February 2025, the founder of Bybit gets a call.
I got a call from my CFO. The 30,000s are gone. He says, no, Ben. It seems like it's the whole wallet. I asked, what did we have in the wallet? He said about 400,000 Ethereum.
Over $1.44 billion worth of Ethereum vanished overnight. This wasn't just a breach. It was a wake-up call for Web3. But it wasn't the first time. Ronin Bridge, $540 million. Poly Network, $610 million. Every time, a different exploit. But the problem was the same. There was no system strong enough to see it coming. That's where FailSafe steps in, the world's first real-time defense system for Web3, built to stop attacks before they happen. And today, we go behind that shield. With the man leading the charge, the CEO of FailSafe. Anarin Flynn is here at the Yellow Podcast.
Hi, it's Shyla again, and I'm here with Anarin from FailSafe. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling today?
Super good. It's day 2 of token, so
yeah. Big day?
It was a little bit hard to wake up, but always productive.
Yeah. So I think let's just start with, tell me a bit about FailSafe.
FailSafe is we essentially build autonomous agentic auditing tools to ensure that protocols are protected at real time. We do a bunch of monitoring on top of that to identify when hacks are happening or when suspicious activities are happening, so that we can trigger early warning signs or even pause protocols from the disastrous effects of a hack taking place.
Okay. How far along are you with this? Like, do you already have like a MVP or something? And how are you bots that you're testing out?
So the first 2 years was very much in R&D mode. We raised capital from Sequoia and Dragonfly a little while ago, and we started doing front running. So it's very technical, but we were looking at transactions in private and public mempools and ensuring we could get in front of those attack transactions. Today, we're fully functioning. We serve major DEXs worldwide and a few other protocols. We've kind of extended way beyond sort of that reactive cybersecurity tool that we had.
Yeah.
We meet our customers a lot earlier in the journey now, and we help them with the security posture, doing things like audits, making sure that they have really good operational security and ensuring that everything's tight from the get-go.
Okay. What do you sort of see, like, with being in the industry, do you foresee any sort of challenges of people accepting AI as a tool to, keep
absolutely,
to safeguard or, for cybersecurity?
I think both sides, it's difficult. It's difficult to accept or trust AI to do things for you, especially, high stakes operations like sending punch.
Yeah.
We're also seeing that AI is equipping the attackers in a way that is outpacing the tools that are available to the defenders.
Yeah.
And so we're definitely seeing an imbalance in the way that AI is being utilized. And if you truly consider the battlefields, attackers are so incentivized. They're sometimes ideologically motivated. They're often state funded. And they're persistent and consistent.
Yeah. So how are you trying to sort of keep ahead of the curve? And
well, what we try and do for our customers is increase the cost of an attack. Ultimately, if you're being targeted, it's usually a case where an attack will succeed. Unfortunately, if an attacker is persistent enough, they just need to find one thing. And the reality is, we're humans at the end of the day. And so we can do as much as we can, but truly anyone can be socially engineered into anything. And so what we're trying to do for our customers is, number one, ensure that they have all of the basics in place. And you'd be surprised how often the basics aren't always in place. And we try and increase the cost of an attack. So if an attacker is looking at your protocol, they see, hey, actually, these guys have a few more locks on them than the other guys. So maybe it's going to be an easier job if we go and attempt to chase someone else.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's interesting. And I feel like you're the good person. You're a good person to ask this question to. Is obviously we live in a multi-chain world, and bridging is necessary in some cases. But there's the risks always involved, and obviously they've they've been notoriously, what's the word? Notoriously bad.
Yes.
So what do you think is going to be the solution for that in the coming months or years?
So the good thing is, there's a certain level of learning that's happening with every hack. We know what to do better. And the good thing is that protocols and the developers understand the attack vectors and they catch them up. And so we're seeing a trend towards, in general, making sure that things like logic bugs, making sure that things like how funds transfer between protocols, and gaps that may be there because of interoperability, all of these things are becoming more and more closed up. But I think what we're seeing in terms of the trend now is attackers are pursuing the very human sides of what is or what constitutes a blockchain business. And the reality is you and I might be holding a private key that's responsible for performing some kind of action or holding some kind of funds. And at the end of the day, you and I can be tricked into sending things or giving out for secrets or even be coerced. And so we're seeing that attackers are choosing sort of more brute force attacks where picking up a wrench, for example, and whacking someone over the head with it and stealing their private keys is much easier than figuring out the complex logic bugs and exploiting them in a protocol.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting take on it. Yeah, I didn't even. So you're saying people are
Absolutely.
more likely to do that,
Yes, yeah. And I think recently we saw a huge influx of this happening in Europe.
and the kidnapping.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, fingers getting chopped off.
Yeah.
So this is the very, I think, sometimes worrisome side of crypto that we see every day. But we're trying to ensure that number one, increasing the cost of attack, making sure that you're obfuscating and you're not parading around and saying, hey, look at me, I'm a crypto bazillionaire and I've got a big red target on my back. And so, yeah, to be honest, our work has really gone from building technical solutions all the way to figuring out some of these very human problems that people always have.
Yeah. So I mean, I think you touched on it earlier, but with the coming back to like the AI thing, a lot of people say still that AI is not at the level of like being completely autonomous, and it needs human intervention. Do you agree with that? And do you see it becoming completely autonomous in like the next couple of years, or?
I do. I think in general, what we're seeing now is a human still needs to be in the loop for high stakes operations. If you're just using your agents to send information, I think it's okay. But ultimately, if you're having agents that are performing transactions or making or deploying capital on your behalf, then ultimately you need fail-safes in place to ensure that someone's not going to maliciously inject a prompt and attempt to persuade your agent to send funds to, for example, a wallet that doesn't belong to you.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we've seen that across the board. And to be honest, a huge kind of face of our customers have built agentic vaults. And you'd be surprised that I think the kind of attack vectors that building an agentic workflow on top of a DEX or on top of an investment product introduces to a protocol. For example, we found that we could drain the entire TVL of one protocol, I won't name them, just by persuading the bot that, hey, we were an administrator.
Wow. Easy as that.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, if you think about it, these LLMs are trained on us, they're trained on humans. And so a human can be socially engineered, then a bot definitely can be.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't really think of it like that. And also the question I could have asked the back of that, I think, is there anything you want to talk about, any developments in this space or just announcements and roadmap of your own?
I think more and more cybersecurity and the tangential side of that, which is compliance. It's a very difficult hurdle to climb, especially if you're a builder. And so what we're trying to do more and more is let builders do what they do best, which is going to fundraise, going to develop the protocol, making sure that they're getting the right team on board and going and selling the vision and bringing the right people in and the customers in. And so I want to abstract away all of the difficulty that comes with being compliant and ensuring that you have the right cybersecurity standards by building essentially an autonomous way for us to continuously audit these projects and make sure that they're above board in terms of their processes. And number two, ensure that we're constantly monitoring everything that's happening on the protocol. Yeah, I guess the big mission here is to abstract away as much as possible. And I guess one of the big announcements we'll make in a couple of days is we are collaborating with Base to ensure that all the projects that are building there are going to have access to agentic audits. It's quite exciting.
Okay, and you've had an announcement around that, or?
We've done a couple of soft announcements. The full stuff will probably be next week.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice to get a little, what you call it, a little breaking news. So yeah, that's cool.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, generally, like bringing in token 2459, I know it was mentioned it's the second day, it's still heaving. Why do you think it attracts the attention that it does?
Interestingly, for the first time, I feel the conversations are no longer, is crypto going to be a thing? It's more, hey, when is it going to completely explode?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, there's a lot of excitement because I think a lot of people have been fed up with the existing systems. How many times have you queued up for 4 hours in a bank just trying to figure out, why you didn't receive a payment?
Yeah.
How many times have you had to be on the phone just to make a payment go through? I think people are just ready to be liberated in that sense, and crypto offers that. And so, yeah, been on this journey for a long time. I've been riding the waves, the ups and the downs. But what we see is a lot of the opportunists that I think were part of the initial few waves, they made their money, and I think, some of them stayed, some of them left. But the people who have truly stayed, I think, are the hardcore builders that truly believe crypto can usher in a truly new way of sending and receiving money and ensuring that financial inclusion is a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's loads of reasons, right? Why people stick with crypto. We were talking about it earlier, and sometimes like Bitcoin is, for the having like this decentralized value asset, and then there's stable coins as well.
Yeah.
But people aren't incentivized to hold stables the same way. They're holding that for different reasons. So I think like over these cycles and over time, people have found their own reason to be attached to crypto. We've got this whole meme coin fest going on, and they're just doing their own thing, like the gambling side, and quite happy to be there and flip and and do that. So I just feel like everybody's found their, before it was just like a few back in 2016, 17 or whatever, it was just those few coins that we had, and it was just like edging your bets and holding on to it and seeing where it goes. But now there's just so many different use cases and functionalities, some of them more meaningful than others. And I think that's what's grown as well over time.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a subculture for everything, right? And there's some kind of crypto community for anything.
Yeah.
And that's completely, actually, and maybe that was kind of, not say exacerbated, but accelerated by the NFT boom, right? Like you had all these ideas that were being pushed out through NFTs, and
the creativeness, I feel like, came in there. It took away from like the black and white coding and nerdy stuff, and it made it cool, and it made it align with physical, like brands and physical assets and that sort of thing. So yeah,
very cool.
It's been lovely speaking with you.
Yes, likewise, Shyla.
Thank you so much for your time.
Likewise. Thank you.
Yeah.